Hello class, my name is Robert Gear. Today we're going to be talking about IFR flight planning as well as several of the other factors that come into play with that process as well. So let's check it out. Alrighty, where's the slide at? Oh, whoa. Alright, flight planning for IFR. Alright, perfect. Let's bring up the overview. To get started, we're going to be looking at planning the route, pilot requirements as well as safety, aircraft requirements as well as safety, our environmental factors, and our external pressures. First thing we'll be starting out with is planning the route. Let's check it out. Some areas to consider: why are we flying? Have we flown there before? Do we have all the information we need? Have we done a complete pre-flight with NW craft? And we'll look at some IFR preferred routes. So when it comes down to picking our flights, if we've flown there before, we're going to have a pretty good idea of what we're doing there and why we're flying there. If it is a training route, or we're seeing friends, or you're just trying to build some cross-country time. Do we have all the information? It's required by pilots to know anything involving the flight. So as using NW craft, we can check our NOTAMs, our weather, our known ATC delays, our runway lengths, alternate information, our fuel requirements, and our takeoff and landing performance distances. Using that checklist alone is going to give you tons of information that will make the flight a lot safer. And as well, when you take those questions of the NW craft checklist, you can apply them to your alternates, the airports you're going by en route, and you'll be able to design a good flight plan. When you look at IFR preferred routes, we're going to have a way that it was already designed for us. These routes are very well known and they're highly traveled, so it makes it a little bit easier for ATC to direct us on that route. And knowing where to find your preferred routes is also key as well. Now you can find the IFR preferred routes in your chart supplement for your region. Now using that, again, it will help out ATC and make it a safer flight. So if there is an IFR preferred route, you should probably throw it in your plan. Time for the next slide. Bring it out. To continue with this presentation, the next topic we're going to be talking about is the PAVE checklist. I'm sure if you're in any kind of training environment that I am, you've most likely heard of this checklist, and it is for a good reason. First one we're going to look at is the PAPA, P in the PAVE checklist. That's going to be our pilot requirements and safety. Let's check it out. Alright, we see we have, am I legal to fly? Am I fit to fly? And am I proficient? Another big topic in the aviation world is currency versus proficiency. So let's talk about them. First one, am I legal to fly? Now that's a big question. Do you have your required documents? Are you current in that right airframe? Do you have your pilot's license? Do you have your valid government ID as well as a valid medical? Make sure you have the right kind of medical for the right flying you will be doing. That's a very important factor, and it's just going to get you in trouble if you don't do it right. So make sure your I's are crossed and your T's are dotted. Now that we're legal to fly, another big question: am I fit to fly? Good thing about aviation, we got a lot of acronyms, and we got one more. It's a pretty cool one. This one is called I'm Safe. It's for a good reason too. Let's check it out. Let's look at the I'm Safe breakdown. We got illness, medication, stress, alcohol, fatigue, and emotion. And what do those mean? So illness is simple. If you're sick, stay home, get better, get back to work when you can. Be safe about it. Medication. Now this can cover any prescribed medication as well as something over the counter. If there's any kind of side effects to these drugs, they need to make sure they're cleared with by either the FAA, or you can look online on AOPA. They both have websites. Now going through stress, the acute or very serious stress are two different things as well. We stress out for check rides, that's a good kind of stress. But now when there's stress of just these agonizing issues, maybe they're at home financially, a spouse or a child may be sick, those are something that are more serious that you should really ask yourself the question: can I keep my mind straight while I'm flying? Because it's a very serious issue. Going down with alcohol is a big one. 8 hours ball to throttle, and even beyond that is going to be a safer avenue. So drinking and flying, they do not mix, so be very, very careful on those choices you make with alcohol. And fatigue, if you've got a little workout and you might be sore, that's nothing compared to not sleeping for 3 or 4 days. That's going to be a serious fatigue issue, and you probably should not fly either. And emotional, try to stay happy in the plane, because a happy pilot's a safe pilot. Moving on. All right, what do we got next? Bring it in. Let's move down to the A in our PAVE checklist. Here you're going to see aircraft requirements and safety. Simply put, is my aircraft airworthy? Am I experienced in this plane? And am I legal to fly this plane? So with the breakdown of these two acronyms, we have Aero and Aviate. Aero is going to cover all the documents that must be on board, and Aviate is going to cover all the inspections required to make sure your aircraft is airworthy. Let's run through them. Okay, pretty simple breakdown. Aero, airworthiness certificate, registration certificate, radio license, that's going to be if you're operating overseas, your operator's handbook, that should be in the plane, and within that handbook you should have the aircraft specific weight and balance. Easy, pretty easy stuff to have on board, make sure they're good to go. Aviate, now we're looking at our inspections. We got our airworthiness directives. Have those all been complied with? We're going to verify all these in the maintenance records. V, we got our VOR, that should be within every 30 days. We got our I, 2 inspections, especially for flight students, our 100-hour and our annual. Let's make sure we're looking at both of those. Our A is going to be for altimeter, T for transponder, and E for the ELT. So a very easy breakdown to make sure your documents have been met. Looking at our previous slide, we see a couple other questions. Am I experienced in this plane, and am I legal to fly this plane? As a training pilot, it should be fairly easy to answer these questions. Personally, I've only flown a Cessna 172 and a Piper Warrior. Both awesome single-engine planes, but I'm not going to climb into an F-16. Even though they're both single-engine land, it's a little bit more power than I'm used to. On that note, slide. Moving down to Victor, the V in our PAVE checklist, we're going to see environmental factors. Here we're going to look at weather and some terrain features. Just like our private pilot flying time, weather is going to be a huge factor in IFR as well. Looking at that, our weather brief is going to be huge for our flight plans coming up. Knowing how to read those charts and go through your brief thoroughly is going to be key. And also applying those weather differences you're going to see along the way. Also with terrain features, they're going to be a little bit more harder to see in the clouds. So being very cautious and very thorough of your flight plans and weather briefs will keep you safe. I don't know about you guys, but I remember for me in high school, peer pressure was a real thing. But now in aviation, we got peer pressure and a whole topic of external pressures. And this is the E in our PAVE checklist. Let's check it out. External pressures, time, money, passengers, maybe your friends, and a whole lot of risk management. Let's talk about it. External pressures is a quick breakdown. It's very simple. Just really, you got to follow your intuition here. If you're going to try to be on a flight on time and fly through some bad weather, that's a red flag. There's not enough money or time in the world that should really change your mind on a safe or unsafe flight. Every goal for a pilot is to complete safe flights. So using your risk management and also your ADM, have some good decision-making skills going through for future flights. All right, you survived the last 7 minutes of this video. You did great. I'm glad you stayed here the whole time with me. Let's cover our summary and close it up. To wrap this up, we talked about planning the route, pilot requirements and safety, aircraft requirements and safety, environmental factors, and external pressures. Well, thank you for watching. I hope this video can help if you did watch it. And now you're probably wondering why I'm on a boat. I actually live on one. So this was all produced on my boat. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you around. Bye.